time to drive a little ways, and since my head's chopped off, I figure I can talk probably out of my ass like everybody else is doing lately on the media. So, yeah, it seems every time I gotta hear something on the news, if it's the mainstream media, I gotta wait 4 days before the real story comes out, because if it doesn't fulfill the narrative of all this garbage that needs to be professed to make everybody worried and scared and segregated and separated and food processed or whatever, the story's not a good story unless it's some hate crime that they can make into a hate crime, which usually doesn't have anything to do with hate at all. It's just a complete misrepresentation of facts for a filtered means of news from the media until they've got no other angle on it, no other mix that they can make out of it. And then they don't want to get too humiliated by the private sector of people on the internet that can pick the BS out of the real truth. But unfortunately, there's a lot of people who don't realize that. There's a lot of people who rely on the media of this country like they're fact instead of fiction. And it's just a big story to try and kill this country's glory. It's a bunch of propaganda to put us in a position that we don't trust anyone except our government. Our government's going to be there to protect us, so once we finally get with the program and stop screwing around, we'll crawl begging and pleading for forgiveness. You know, it's like the people who actually know what's going on know that we have to fend for ourselves and we have to do for ourselves. And patriotism in this country is going to become illegal. Anything of any higher patriarch is going to be a lost art in society. Everything that you feel confident about, everything you feel in your heart and your soul is right, is being turned into a crime. Pedophiles or pedophilia is going to be sanctioned as just a mental illness. Oh yeah, well, there's a pain where a pill won't reach. You know, Disney, Universal Studios, all of Hollywood, they've got their own special way of turning fantasy into reality, and their fantasy has to do with children, and they're really proving themselves now. So I don't know, I really don't have anything good to say except that I'm glad that we've made it to Patriot Day, which was yesterday. I didn't see as many flags as I'd anticipated, but I live in an area that really doesn't approve of good, genuine justice and the American way. They believe in taking everything they can get and taking more and complaining about it. So, yeah, my neighborhood, my town, my city is not my neighborhood, my town, and my city. It belongs to somebody who doesn't care about anything but what they can get. And the only problem with instant gratification with them is that it takes too fucking long. And that's fine. They can do anything they want. And they can get everything for free. And they think it's gonna, the economy's just gonna support itself. The neighborhoods are gonna just, you know, settle for the nonsense, but they don't understand why homes are being closed up and being traded for normal neighborhoods for Section 8. And these few decent apartment complexes that are left are getting turned into slums and harboring fugitives. It's a joke. And it's not funny. It's that nasty hit and the funny bone that isn't funny. And it sucks, but what can you do? Well, I hope everybody has a safe weekend, and when we end up finding a way to make sense of all this, I think for Halloween a lot of people are just going to have to dress up as normal human beings with a conscience and a soul and some consideration for others. That'd be a good costume. Because there's a lot of people out there who need to get their shit straight. It ain't my job to do it. But you can't fix stupid, but you sure can feed it. It doesn't seem like there's any sense to be made. There is no sense anymore. We've got a shortage of coins in this nation now, so there is no sense. There's a shortage of sense. Kind of poignant. Kind of weird. Yesterday I was kind of putting the numbers together, and I realized yesterday was (9/11), which was the whole premise of the terrorist organizations was to do something fanatical and significant on a day that the date was the same as what we dial on our phones, at least in the East Coast, West Coast is 911. So they wanted to do it on 9/11. It's been 19 years yesterday since the day of the Twin Towers being taken down. And we've got COVID-19. So there's 9/19, 9/11, and my new work truck is actually a commander's fire battalion chief vehicle, and it says 911 everywhere. Everywhere you look has 911 components and apparatuses named after 911. And it's kind of crazy that Patriot Day, which is what 9/11 is called now, and now the Patriots are coming back up with taking this country back, making it real again. And here's Patriot Day. Of all the patriots in 9/11, trying to figure out whether COVID-19 is actually anything to be worried about other than just a flu. But it's crazy. It's crazy when you think about how things work out and how they come together. And we'll get through this and it'll work out, but it's going to get worse before it gets better, and there's no telling how long it's going to take before enough people do enough of the right things to find themselves in the right place at the right time in the right country. So, but we'll find out how it works out. You guys have a good weekend. I'll talk to you later.